When we saw what was going on, we actually cancelled our honeymoon.
It was the worst day on Wall Street.
Action is the worst to take in markets like this.
मैं कई बार क्लाइंट को पूछा यार गोल्ड इतना बढ़ गया आप बेचने वाले हो क्या? क्लाइंट को एकदम पर्सनल लग जाता है कि अरे गोल्ड बेचने की बात कर दिया
Gold
मतलब
jewelry, you will not touch. I just don't know why the media makes so much noise about this being active versus passive. Your greatest asset is time, energy, talent, wealth. Is your greatest asset when you're 70. But जिंदगी spreadsheet पे जी नहीं जाती. Your house is your house. You should get out of the spreadsheet if you want a primary home.
तो क्या लग रहा है निफ्टी 50,000 पॉइंट कब पहुंचेगा? Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of Wealth Insights by Investor, where we talk about money, investing and personal finance. For our first episode, we could not have asked for something better. We have India's one of the youngest mutual fund CEOs managing more than 1.45 lakh crores AUM today. Please welcome Radhika Gupta to our show. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank
I
you.
think you started your entrepreneurship journey in 2008
Yeah.
and also you got married in 2008.
Yes.
Both the biggest decisions of your life you took at the same time. So can you tell us a bit how did both the things go together?
Oh, actually, till now, till you mentioned it, I didn't realize both of them had happened in 2008, only 6-7 months apart. So I got married in Jan 2008, which is very interesting because it was actually the peak of the market. And I was working in the US at that point. My husband was working in the US, so got married, and of course I'm still married, so I guess that has worked out reasonably well. But I remember we came to India to get married, and our bosses were very nice not to disturb us during the wedding. But when we saw what was going on, we actually cancelled our honeymoon because markets had started turning.
Let's talk about the speed with which we are watching this market deteriorate.
Because we're now down 43%.
It was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
By March, Bear Stearns fell. By September, Lehman Brothers happened. So the whole thing kind of unraveled. And we actually never took a honeymoon after marriage because of the market.
Yes.
And I guess it'll always be something that, we'll remember. And then, in October 2008, a little after Lehman, this whole seed of entrepreneurship started coming in the head, because I think for a young analyst or a young professional, that whole 2000, before that you were always scared of starting up because you were like risk hai. But I think seeing 2008 when you're 24 just changes your perspective on risk. You're like, everything has risk. So you might as well go out and take the risks that you really want to take. And then finally we moved back in 2009. But that's how it turned out.
So how did your parents react or how your husband reacted when you said you want to go to entrepreneurship? Because a lot of
Well,
times...
my husband was a co-founder with me, so
Acha.
obviously he had to react well. The parents did not react so well. See, in 2008-9, the context of India was actually very different from what it was today. Firstly, you were coming off this whole financial crisis, etc. We had kept our jobs. Now, middle-class kids who moved abroad to India, like me and my husband, did not move abroad to come back. That is very different today. So when I go to a Harvard Business School to speak today, everybody is talking about coming back to India. Back then, it was not a good thing to do. Like, you've done the education loans, you've got scholarships, you've survived the crisis. फिर काय को वापस आना? So it was very different India. Second thing is, this was not Startup India, Shark Tank India, Entrepreneurship India. Entrepreneurship in the first place was very not cool and it was perceived as very risky. So I'm a parent now and I don't blame parents of that era for saying, what the hell were you doing? Right? So they'd be like, you want to delay it 1 or 2 years, like they're delaying tactics, or do you want to come back when you're an MD with Goldman Sachs? Come back to India with safety. I think risk appetite has evolved 15 years later. The generation has changed.
So which departments in the entrepreneurship you really enjoyed and which departments you didn't like marketing, sales, compliance? There are so many things when you enter into entrepreneurship, you have to do it on your own.
Yeah.
So some departments which you liked and some which you really didn't like.
That's a fun question. So firstly, I liked the idea of moving out of one department, which was just investing, to doing more things. I am like the classic buffet eater because I've moved around so much as a kid that I get very impatient. So I don't like to eat too much of one dish. I like that थाली में थोड़ा थोड़ा सा आप सब चख लो
सब कुछ मिले.
तो मुझे वो थाली अप्रोच एंड करियर बहुत अच्छा लगा और आई थिंक एक्चुअली आई स्टिल like that a lot. Like I see a day like today, I'll do one meeting with marketing, one meeting with investments, we'll be doing a podcast like this, then I'll have to go do one HR related thing, and then there's something with our board. So it's very varied, you don't get bored. What I learned to like, so I found sales very difficult, and I know you guys do it for a living, but I found it very difficult, but I think everyone should do it. I didn't enjoy accounting so much, even though I was the de facto accountant of AMC.
Of the company.
So I didn't enjoy accounting and operations and all of that so much, but I learned a lot about it.
8-9 you started, 2014 you decided to sell. So
Yeah.
two very big decisions
Yeah.
you took, in a span of time. How did the decision of selling the company evolve? Was there, because hindsight everything looks good, but when you're standing at that point of time, you're thinking, I want to sell my company. So lot of thoughts come because it's fog ahead. You don't know what's going to
Oh, yeah,
happen.
yeah. And I think, when you're trying to make any big decision, people always scare you, right? You're going to move back to India. What lifestyle are you going to leave behind? You're going to leave your company and sell it. तुम सीधा वो क्या कहते हैं इंडिया में, you're going to go from boss, like entrepreneur, to having a boss. And I've learned that I have to trust my instinct while taking decisions, and I have to own the decisions. Now, not every one of them has a good outcome or bad outcome, but I think it's very important to own the decisions, and these are not hurried decisions. Like I started thinking about entrepreneurship in 2008, I moved back in 9. We started thinking about the company in 13. I finally took the decision in 14. So I think these are thought out decisions. They are not overnight decisions. And it's very important to own the decisions because finally I want to own the trajectory of my life. Good or bad, I shouldn't say कि यार he forced me to do it.
Right. So now I think Edelweiss is managing almost 1.65 lakh crores.
Yeah, 1.45, yeah.
What is your vision with the AMC now, next 5 years vision? Where you want to see Edelweiss? Where do you want to take it to?
So I think the mission is not size. The mission is to build a very loved and trusted asset management company. And of course, it has to have size and scale. But I'm not in some grand number 1, number 2, 3 race. I think in India, the market opportunity is so large. Fundamentally, I am very proud that when you run an AMC, when you do the work you do, we impact the lives of people, the financial lives in a very good way. तो हमारा काम बहुत अच्छा है. तो काम अच्छा है. You're making returns. You're doing good for the customer, and you're doing it in a market like India, which is underpenetrated. So if you just give yourself time in this industry and you are one of the top 10, 12 players, you will build a very good business. And there's this 3 idiots dialogue ना that आप quality पे focus करो, success तो झक मार के पीछे आएगी.
सक्सेस झक मार के तुम्हारे पीछे आएगी.
I think in India growth will happen because the market opportunity is that. Quality is optional. So I want to build growth and quality together.
A lot of things are happening in AI, artificial intelligence, learn LLMs.
Yeah, of course.
So how are you keeping up with the learning curve in the AMC?
So one is, I think it's very important personally as a leader to keep learning, right? I finished my undergraduate degree in 2020, in 2005. And so that's the end of formal learning. But I try to take on, well before this whole AI thing happened, some project every 1 to 2 years personally, which I feel can push me. So there was a year I learned public speaking. There was recently I spent 10 days doing executive education back at Harvard with classmates from 50 different countries, including about topics like AI, but not just AI. So one is, I think personally I'm trying to push myself on learning. I'm also trying to push that in my own teams. We have an offsite coming up, and I'm telling everyone, outside your day-to-day job, the 80-90% of stuff that you do, what's that 10-20% you're doing to just improve yourself and your team? Are you taking a class? Are you learning a new skill? Because that is necessary. And AI is one thing you can learn about, but there are lots of others. Now, I think as far as implications of AI to our business, we are still learning. We are experimenting. In fact, I think today only, one of the meetings on my calendar is, so we've been grappling with 3 or 4 use cases of AI in asset management, and let me not go into them because it's early days, but some on the service side, some on the sales side, some on the investing side, and some on the marketing and communication side. So we're trying to grapple with these use cases, and what's important is we're not going to stop experimenting.
Right, right. So, how's your life after Shark Tank? I think it has been changed a bit. And are you enjoying the stardom you have got?
More than enjoying, so yes, I'm enjoying it. Let me say, more than enjoying it because it's stardom, there is tremendous gratitude for it. I think when you set up to be a mutual fund CEO or corporate, well, like when you set up to be a movie star, you know that people are going to take selfies with you, right? It's like possibly what you do this for. But when you set out in life to work in financial services and run a mutual fund, you don't set yourself up for this. So it's a very pleasant perk, and it's a great privilege. Like I'll tell you, I was recently speaking at IIM Kozhikode. I was speaking at their convocation, and of course, I spoke to a large number of students and parents. And the next day, I was at the hotel having breakfast, and of course, everybody knew me because I had come to the city to speak, and I was at the airport and the hotel. And I can't tell you, I was like in half tears because everybody was just so nice to me. Like random people at the airport, they were helping me with their bags. They're like, ma'am, why are you standing in line? They were just coming and talking. This is just a privilege. Yeah? This is just, and I'm a big believer in gratitude, but this is just a privilege. There's no way that you can be anything but grateful for it.
So, you have traveled, I think you have studied also in multiple countries.
Yeah.
Which is the country you like the most apart from India?
Again, rather than an individual country, I in hindsight, I think the experience was very rich, right? I mean, in comparison, it's likely my son is just going to grow up in Mumbai. But the fact that through my father we could not visit these countries, but assimilate into these countries, live in these countries, good, bad, ugly, the stories we inherited as children, I don't think we thought it was great then, but in hindsight, it's an incredible way to build a childhood because it gives you so much in terms of resilience. So, I did enjoy my Italy stint quite a bit.
Can you explain mutual funds for the first time investors? Just simple, plain कि क्या होता है mutual funds? एक पहले first time investor के लिए somebody who's earning his first salary.
खुद खाना बनाने की जगह क्योंकि हर आदमी खाना नहीं बना पाता, आप एक फूड कोर्ट में चले जाओ जहाँ अच्छे खासे लोग जो ट्रेंड हैं अलग अलग तरह के खाने अलग अलग लोगों के हिसाब से बनाते हैं और रीजनेबल प्राइस पे हाइजीनिक कंडीशंस में बेचते हैं. दैट इज़ अ म्यूचुअल फंड. इट्स अ फूड कोर्ट.
So it's basically for everybody.
इट्स बेसिकली फॉर एवरीबॉडी.
For an ultra HNI से लेके जो पहली बार
When you go
salary.
everywhere, everyone goes to a food court, but everyone has their preferences within the food court. The food court is not fine dining, but it's good, reasonable food at reasonably healthy prices with a lot of hygiene
Right.
and transparency.
How should one go about, selecting the right mutual funds? Because there are so many categories, so many mutual funds. I think more than 1,000 or probably 600 plus like open-ended schemes. How should one select the right mutual fund for them?
Firstly, one should get advice from folks like you and the many other MFDs and financial advisors. It's the most important thing to say. I think when you go into a car shop, when you go anywhere, you ask for advice, right? So that's one. But again, I think to extend my whole point about the food court, when you go into a food court, on average, the airport food court probably has 10 restaurants and you don't go to eat everywhere. You have a couple of cuisines that you like and you have criteria. Like some people are more health conscious, some people are more price conscious. So I always say within mutual funds, there might be 30 categories of equity funds out there or 25, but there are 4 or 5 dal chawal categories, very basic categories like multi-cap, flexi-cap, large cap, mid-cap, small cap. You pick these 3-4 categories that comprise your diet. You pick 2-3 AMCs in each category and some little fixed income. That's it. Okay.
That's it. Okay. So a lot of people talk about, returns. People have been chasing past returns. You see, whenever the returns go up, the AMCs, like the fund houses,
बिल्कुल।
सीधा ऊपर चले जाते हैं उसका AUM. रिस्क के बारे में कोई बात नहीं करते. मैंने इतनी बार देखा है, लोग बस अगर 15% रिटर्न 4 साल कंटिन्यूस आ गया तो पैसा डालना शुरू कर देंगे, रिस्क भूल ही जाते हैं. पीपल फॉरगेट कि 2008 में मार्केट वॉज डाउन बाय 56% और अभी भी रिस्क है तो इश्क है. तो रिस्क कैसे असेस करें म्यूचुअल फंड का?
सो व्हाट इज रिस्क? कि सिंपल भाषा में क्या, इट्स द रिस्क ऑफ यू लूजिंग कैपिटल, राइट? सो वन एनालिसिस आई लाइक टू डू इज, एंड देयर इज मल्टीपल काइंड्स ऑफ रिस्क. So there's risk, of course, that the mutual fund could fall 5% in a day. But hopefully most of us are not investing for a day or for a week or for a year if we are doing equities. When I invest, I like to look at one statistics. It is कि अगर मैं equity fund में invest कर रही हूँ, I'm investing for 5 years. I look at the rolling return, which is the average consumer experience. What is the minimum rolling return? Worst case में 5 साल के experience में क्या हो सकता है?
7%,
7%,
10%.
मिड कैप फंड में शायद वो कम हो, बैलेंस्ड फंड में शायद वो मिनिमम बेटर हो. दैट गिव्स मी अ सेंस व्हाट इज माय वर्स्ट केस. लाइक इन ऑल डिसीजंस, वी स्टार्टेड दिस विद डिसीजन मेकिंग. इवन इन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आई ऑलवेज आस्क माई सेल्फ व्हाट्स द वर्स्ट. मैं MBA कर लूँगी जाके. सो दिस व्हाट्स द वर्स्ट आई थिंक इज़ अ वेरी पावरफुल फ्रेमवर्क. How much can I afford to lose is a very powerful framework for risk. So in funds, I use rolling returns to measure that, and I think it works really well. And of course, if you want to get more nuance, there are many ways to look at it. And in equity fund, for instance, you like to look at the sources of risk. Are you generating returns by holding larger companies or smaller companies? Are you generating returns by holding 5 stocks or 50 stocks? So these are all ways to create risk. But finally, risk is kya? What's the worst that can happen?
Right. You know, lot of time investors say कि यार मैं 5 साल के लिए इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूँ, but every day they are opening their valuation reports. I think this is what lot of people are missing out. मतलब ये सबसे बड़ा दिक्कत हो जाता है, क्योंकि आप जब गोल्ड में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, सिल्वर में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हो, यू आर नॉट सीइंग द रिटर्न.
I tell you, तुम्हारे घर की if your house had a mark to market NAV at 3:30 or 5 o'clock or what ours is 11 o'clock every day, you would get depressed.
Yes, because that's how our parents made money, because वो लोग डाल देते थे, भूल जाते थे. But nowadays investors, when you know they put money, they are saying कि यार मैं 5 साल के लिए पैसा डाल रहा हूँ, 10 साल के लिए, और 1 साल बाद रिटर्न नहीं बना तो they are like, अरे यार इससे अच्छा तो FD कर
I
देता.
did a poll, sorry to cut, on my X/Twitter handle saying what frequency do people look at their portfolios, and so I put daily, monthly, weekly, monthly, and quarterly. And by the way, I look at mine once a quarter at most. Okay, in this correction, I haven't even looked at it. I've been busy. Most people said daily. Then someone told me on our team, like, we have a website and it gets a lot of hits between 2 to 3. So I was like, on market down days. So I was like, why are all these people coming here? खरीदने आए होंगे. Why would you come? No, they're coming to check their portfolio at 2 or 3. The fund doesn't even update. The NAV comes out at night. So this obsession to check, because see, if you're constantly checking something, you will be compelled to take action.
Take action, right.
And
that's what
action is the worst to take in markets like this.
मैं कई बार क्लाइंट को पूछा हूँ, यार गोल्ड इतना बढ़ गया, आप बेचने वाले हो क्या? आप घर, मतलब गोल्ड क्लाइंट को एकदम पर्सनल लग जाता है कि अरे गोल्ड बेचने की बात कर दिया,
गोल्ड
मतलब
ज्वेलरी तो यू विल नॉट टच.
हाँ, चाहे वो 50,000 भी हो जाएगा ना, दे विल नॉट से, या 4 साल कोई रिटर्न नहीं बना तो भी दे विल नॉट से कि यार मेरे को बेचना है. और लेकिन म्यूचुअल फंड है कि यार रिटर्न नहीं बना, चलो ये फंड से ये फंड स्विच कर देते हैं.
Because it's liquid, because it's easy to sell, you almost want to sell it, which is actually not a very, but I think it comes from overlooking at the portfolio. And what you feel is, see, we live in a hyper news driven world. So your NAV gets cut at 11 at night, but the news will blare, the WhatsApp groups will start, the social media handles. So you find the end of the day feel like the world's ending. Like I was on a TV channel yesterday, which was a big market cut, and there were 2 others. And the anchor kept asking us, why are you guys smiling? Why are you guys smiling? I was like, why are you trying to stress us out? We are not that stressed out. We've been through this.
ये तो अच्छा है, NAV एक ही बार दिन में अपडेट होता है. अगर
Thank God.
10 बार होता तो you know people would have kept checking every
No,
hour.
but I could जाता.
So राधिका मैम, SIP सबको पता है कि यार SIP करना चाहिए, बेस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट है. बट फॉर बिजनेसमैन लाइक अस, यू नो, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू डू एन
Yes, it
SIP
is,
बिकॉज
it is.
हमारे लिए फर्स्ट को सैलरी आती नहीं
आती
जाती
नहीं
है
है,
ठीक है सो व्हाट वुड योर सजेशन बी फॉर बिजनेसमैन बिकॉज वी यूजुअली गेट मनी इन लमसम सो व्हाट हाउ शुड वी गो अबाउट
Yeah, no, look, I've been an entrepreneur where income is irregular, and so SIPs in that sense are not built for people like us. They are actually built for
Yes.
salaried people. So I think with business, you have to look at your annual cash flow that you're generating and that you don't want to put back into the business, because of course you want to put back into the business really what you're taking home every year or what you want to take home, and calibrate some amount of post-tax savings target. Now, if you're taking home 50 lakhs a year after putting everything back into your company, you have to calibrate how much I want to save that. If that's 10 lakhs, that's what it is. You have to plan your allocation basis that. And then you have to take a call that if I have to do this in equities, do I have to stagger it or do I have to do it in one shot? Now, if you ask me my honest opinion on this, if you're a 10-year investor, and it doesn't matter, right?
Right.
You deploy capital as you get it. But if you're a paranoid investor, STPs help.
Right. So there is a lot of talk about passive investing versus active investing. I think US people are comparing with US because in US index funds are working very well. What's your thoughts on passive investing?
Firstly, so I like passive investing, but I find these comparisons with the US market a bit of hogwash, because passive investing took off in the US market when equity penetration was very high and alpha had gone away. If you look at our markets, for the large part, funds have generated alpha. That said, I think passive is a very good thing. I just don't know why the media makes so much noise about this being active versus passive. If I look at my portfolio, I have active funds, I have passive funds. I think it's 60-40 active passive. My sons might be 55-45 or 70-30, I don't remember what it is. So I'm saying these are all solutions. We don't debate silk sari versus chiffon sari. We have both in our wardrobe and we use them for different purposes.
I think investors forget that US is a much more matured
Which
market
is what I was
than
saying.
us.
It happened when equity penetration was.
I think US market would have started 50 years before.
We are the US market of the late 80s.
Haan.
That's about the analogy in terms of economic size and MF size.
Right. So nowadays, a lot of this theoretical funds and sectoral funds, thematic funds going into action. So you think that's the best thing to do at this point of time, investing in sectoral funds, thematic funds?
So, look, I run sectoral funds, but I'm going to give you an equally candid answer. So, three things. I've been using this dal chawal framework everywhere about how the core of your portfolio or diet has to be dal chawal. I think thematic funds are chutney, pickle, and papad. Now, we eat chutney, pickle, and papad and meetha. But clearly, it can't be 80% of our diet because you know what happens to us. That's how you have to approach thematic funds. Now, if you don't eat any chutney, pickle, and papad, some people can eat dal chawal without chutney, pickle, and papad, but some people need it. Otherwise, they will get bored. Okay, so no judgment. Second is, there are two kinds of thematic funds. There are thematic funds, in my view, which are thoda broad-based, where the investment universe is wide. Like you take a India Opportunities Fund, you take a Financials Fund, you take a Tech Fund, ये बड़े themes हैं. Universes are very wide. Then there are these very, very narrow funds where the universe is 10 stocks. The theme is at market highs. The second is what really scares me.
I think, and in thematic and sectoral funds, exit also really
It's
matters.
really hard. And I'm going to give you one stat on this, which I found very powerful recently. So we had got this award from Morningstar, and they were showing, there is something called the return the fund earns versus the return the investor earns. And typically there's a difference. It's called the behavior gap. Most of us have heard about
Yes.
this. Now in normal multi-flexi type funds, the behavior gap must be 1-2%. Morningstar did a study of this behavior gap for thematic funds. It's 8% globally, because it's very difficult to catch the entry and exit right.
Of the fund.
So hence, it's pickle and chutney. It's nice, and it should be pickle and chutney.
One thing would you want investors behavior to change? मतलब एक चीज जो आप चाहोगे कि इन्वेस्टर अपना चेंज कर दे, बिकॉज सब लोग लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टिंग की बात करते हैं, बट इफ यू सी द SIP नंबर्स, बहुत कम SIPs है जो 10 साल 15 साल 20 साल लोग कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं. देयर इज हार्डली वेरी फ्यू फोलियोज. तो एक क्या चीज़ रहेगी जो आप चाहोगे कि रियली यार इन्वेस्टर ये बदल देवे, दुनिया बदल
I
जाएगी?
think investing has to become less social. ये जो, एंड दिस इज माई व्यू ऑन लाइफ इन जनरल, कि ये जो कंपैरिजन का वो है ना, हॉर्स रेसिंग का, मेरा पोर्टफोलियो आपसे ज़्यादा होगा, क्योंकि उसमें क्या होता है ना, देन यू स्टार्ट टेकिंग वेरी शॉर्ट टर्म डिसीजंस. What is the root of short termism? It starts with this, oh yaar, I met him at a party. He's earned 30%, I earned 25. So then you go to your advisor. तूने मुझे small cap नहीं दिया, even though it's not right. Then you add it at the wrong time. Oh no, this is defense fund that's come out. थोड़ा ना juice करने के लिए मैं. So this greed starts from comparison, and then all this leads to short termism, chasing performance, all the lovely things that we talk about. So I think this making it a lot more personal and less social.
कई बार इन्वेस्टर्स ये भी गलती करें कि अभी एक्टिवली इन्वेस्टिंग करें, मतलब अपना बिजनेस छोड़ दिया है लोगों ने.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
एक्टिवली दे आर लुकिंग एट इन्वेस्टमेंट एज इफ they are going to earn much more as compared to their business and their employment. मतलब employees भी आजकल ऑफिस जाके कई बार they are trading and
I hope, a couple of, very prominent businessmen in India had talked about this issue of the family office problem. And I had tweeted that a greater problem than that is this problem that you're talking about, which is when young people think they don't need to build careers, they need to build portfolios full time. Every campus I go to, and I speak at a lot of campuses, as I said, spoke at, I give them one message. When you're 25, your greatest asset, and this is from a girl who sells sips for a living, your greatest asset cannot be financial because you don't have wealth. Your greatest asset is time, energy, talent. Please optimize the ROI on that. Wealth is your greatest asset when you're 70.
एंड इनपुट पे ज़्यादा फोकस कीजिए ना, आउटपुट तो अपने आप आ
आउटपुट
जाएगा.
आपका तभी आएगा, और आपके पास मैक्सिमाइज करने के लिए कैपिटल है ही नहीं अभी.
कई बार क्लाइंट क्या बोलते हैं ना, अरे आप 1 साल हो गए, 2 साल हो गए, आपने कुछ किया ही नहीं. कई बार हमें फोर्सफुली है ना 1-2 फंड चेंज कर देने पड़ते हैं, बिकॉज क्लाइंट इज फीलिंग कि माई एडवाइजर इज रियली नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग. कुछ करना चाहिए, क्या कुछ करना चाहिए.
And people don't realize that every time, like I have, and maybe this will help some of your clients. I'm a super long-term investor. I make tactical changes once a year to my fund and structural ones once in 5 years. Even when I'm making structural changes, and I have a fund that I've realized is underperforming or something, I think twice before doing it because I have to pay 10%, 12.5% LTCG. There's a lot of cost of doing activity. We are not in a free LTCG regime anymore.
आई थिंक इन्वेस्टर्स टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी अभी तक समझे नहीं है. मतलब दे रियली नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. कंपाउंडिंग की बहुत बात हो रही है, बट टाइम वैल्यू ऑफ मनी की भी.
Just sitting there. If you ask me one thing investors should do, salaried people, just like you used to show off your amount of real estate now when you were like a rich uncle in Delhi, just maximize your monthly SIP book. Like say I have a 1 lakh book, a 5 lakh book, target a 10 lakh SIP. Just target a big SIP book and show that off.
What's your take on rent versus owning a house?
I've debated this. If you ever sit on a spreadsheet, you will always say rent. But ज़िंदगी spreadsheet पे जी नहीं जाती. Your house is your house, and so I think a primary home is not a financial decision. It's an emotional decision, and you should get out of the spreadsheet if you want a primary home, because buy it. Like my primary home is not my investment, it's my emotional decision. It's where my son is going to grow up. It's built the way I want to. Secondary real estate is a financial decision.
Right. So what's the best investment you have done so far apart from म्यूचुअल फंड्स? म्यूचुअल फंड तो आप करते ही हो, बट उसके अलावा कौन से ऐसे इन्वेस्टमेंट डिसीजंस है जो आप खुश हो? मे बी गोल्ड, सिल्वर, रियल एस्टेट,
Honestly,
एनीथिंग, यूएस मार्केट्स,
The
यूरोपियन
best
markets.
investment decision has been my career. There can't be a better ROI, right?
Right.
Than investing time, energy, effort, passion into what I do, because that is the input to create.
And I think you are still investing a lot of money
And
on
I'm
that.
still investing the most valuable even at 40, I think the most valuable thing I have is time. And I'm investing time not on my portfolio, I hardly spend time, but on building this business and on my career. So
I think your kids would be happy कि mom भी पढ़ाई कर रही है.
Mom भी पढ़ाई कर. My son told me when I went, I told him I'm going to Harvard. He's like, where are you going? I said, I'm going to college. He's like, don't hit anyone and study properly, because that's what I tell him when he goes to play school.
इंडिया बहुत इवॉल्व कर रहा है. आपके हिसाब से कौन से सेक्टर्स है जो अगले 10 साल में बहुत ही मतलब नाम ही नहीं सुने इस सेक्टर्स का या बहुत कम सुनने में आ रहे, 10 साल में अभिषेक ये कुछ अलग ही रूप लेंगे?
So it's hard to tell, but I think you'll see a lot of evolution. You will see, for instance, the creation of a lot of brands come out of India. You will see the creation of global brands that come out of India. And it's interesting to study the trajectory of markets like South Korea, for instance. You will see, I think, you've seen IT services businesses, you've seen SaaS companies. I think you'll see core AI companies, hopefully, come out of India. You'll see a lot of evolution in financial services. So I think every sector is actually going to present a very, very interesting story. I mean, 10 years ago, would anyone have imagined that a food delivery company was a nifty company? It's not possible to imagine.
Recently, a lot of things are going on. Should India concentrate on manufacturing?
India should, and this is a complex question to answer, but you can't build an economy on just services. That's for sure. So manufacturing has to be part of the story. And one of the greatest challenges for India is you have a very young demographic. How do you employ them productively? So manufacturing, you have to do things that create jobs.
Right. So last question, I think सब लोग पूरी दुनिया जानना चाहती है, मार्केट क्या लगता है? आई थिंक जब तक ये पॉडकास्ट भी रिलीज होगा तब तो मार्केट कुछ और ही रहेगा.
Which is why this question is actually pointless. Because I always say that if you ask me to look at 2035, the 10-year India story, it continues to be unquestionable. If you ask me about 2025, the answer is, I don't know. These days, the market opens in the US and even they don't know what is going to happen. I mean, yesterday, and I don't know when this podcast will release, the NASDAQ went from -4 to +4 to -3. Who knows?
एंड एक्चुअली फ्राइडे को जब रेसिप्रोकल टैरिफ्स आए तब यूएस इंडिया मार्केट गिरा नहीं. इंडिया मार्केट गिरा क्योंकि यूएस का मार्केट गिरा. So they just followed the.
So I'm saying, I don't know. 2025 is probably going to be volatile because markets are volatile. 2035, I don't feel very uncertain about.
तो क्या लग रहा है निफ्टी 50,000 पॉइंट कब पहुंचेगा?
कभी तो पहुंचेगा और कब पहुंचेगा doesn't matter. Long term Nifty has delivered 12%. That's much better than inflation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, guys. Please follow our channel for more insights on personal finance, wealth and investing.